What's good, everybody? Cerebral94 got a cool deck to show you guys today. The strategy is similar to many of my other decks that I've shown and used, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. And we're going to be using Dusk Necrozma GX here, but instead of Magnezone, like people are used to, we're going to be using Bronzong. Now, this is an expanded deck since Bronzong is an expanded Pokemon, but this is a pretty cool deck. It's kind of like rayeels. The only difference is we use Bronzong and Duskmane Necrozma instead of something like Rayquaza EX and Electric. So the strategy is simple as you can imagine. We use Metal Links with Bronzong, grab Metal Energies, attach them on the bench, and we're going to attach them on Duskmane Necrozma GX. And with Meteor Tempest, 220 damage, we get a lot of significant knockouts on a lot of Pokemon. Of course, now that Ultra Necrozma GX has been released too, you can try and use that Pokemon too. Uh, they both have the same HP. Sun Eclipse GX is a better GX attack, and you also have the option to use Claw Slash maybe. That Pokemon can do more damage, but you know both of them have their advantages and disadvantages. It's not so bad though. In expanded, this Pokemon is better in expanded than standard compared to having Malamar and Ultra Necrozma GX because I mean, you can do more damage, get knockouts on the Stage 2 GX Pokemon and shit with Ultra Necrozma GX. But with this guy, you can get one-hit knockouts on anything else besides that anyway. I mean, they both need like 4 energies to do that shit. You discard 3 energies. I mean, I guess, yeah, you're going to get knockouts and everything with that. But this Pokemon gets the job done. It isn't necessarily inferior. And the benefit that we have is that this is an all-metal deck. So we run all metal energies, so this makes it easier, more consistent, more flexible. You don't have to worry about energy so much. With Ultra Necrozma GX, you have to use Psychic as well, metal and Psychic. So yeah. Alright, so I've already talked about Duskmane Necrozma GX. It's going to be our main attacker. It's a perfect Pokemon, honestly. It's as good as they can get for this kind of job. And for other backup dudes, we're going to have our Dialga GX. This Pokemon might not be as good as if used with Magnezone because getting 5 energies from the discard pile is more difficult. If we get these from the hand, it's much easier with Magnezone because you can just add them or do some shit. But, you know, with Bronzong, we only get like a single attachment for each Pokemon. So, you know, we're gonna need 3 out, a manual attachment, and it still won't be enough. So maybe you can slowly build it. But, you know, it's there. If I use Timeless GX right, it is a broken game-winning attack. But the good thing about this Pokemon is that it has many functions. So in the beginning, Overclock is a good thing. Draw cards until you have 6 cards in hand. We discard a lot of cards with this deck. So it's a nice little support Pokemon in the beginning. Shred also has a bunch of functions. Is a weak attack, doing 3 for 80. But this is one of our ways we can hit Pokemon that can kind of be immune to GX Pokemon or basic Pokemon or stuff like that. So something like Pyroar from Flashfire, nobody probably is going to play that, but in case you do, this Pokemon can kill, or at least, yeah, it's a 2-hit kill, but you can attack with Shred. You can attack things like a little Ninetales with this dude. I mean, we have other options with other attackers, but, you know, you get the idea. It's a flexible Pokemon. All 3 attacks are useful. It's also Dragon type. It gives us a little bit of variation with the weaknesses, being weak to Fairy. You can use the Metal one if you like. There's no problem. It's just that you're going to be weak to Fire like everybody else. That's it. Now, since this is expanded, we're going to be able to take advantage of Aegislash-EX. This is a nice little EX Pokemon because of Mighty Shield. With Mighty Shield, we can get some good locks going. If my opponent relies a lot on special energies, this Pokemon can become a good wall. Of course, they should have ways to play around that, but we're still making their life hard. So Mighty Shield, great ability. Prevent all damage from this Pokemon by Pokemon that have special energies on. Slash Blast is a kind of make sense attack in this deck too. It gets more powerful depending on the metal energies, depending on the number of metal energies you have. You know, we've seen this before. So it's going to do 100 for 3, then 120 for 4, and it can get stronger with more metal energies. It's not that great of an attack, but it's not a shitty attack either, I suppose. Its stats are kind of okay, I guess, for a basic EX Pokemon that's going to give 2 prizes. Standard. It's a much older card too from Phantom Forces. You don't have to play it, but I like flexible text and nice little effects, powerful abilities like that, so that's why I'm running it. And we're going to be running our regular guys too. One Solgaleo Prism. This card is very nice with 160 HP basic Pokemon, only given 1 prize, pretty good. Corona Impact doing 160 for 4, very, very solid. And with Radiant Star, this can be useful as well. Maybe when I discarded a lot of metal energies in the discard pile, I haven't brought out the Bronzongs yet, or maybe my opponent has something like Garbodor. I can't necessarily remove the tool or some shit. Radiant Sword is going to grab us a bunch of energies, and I give pressure to my opponent this way too. So it's an all-around great Pokemon. And for the last supporter metal Pokemon at least, we've got a bunch of other guys. Jirachi, I really love this Pokemon. It's pretty nice, can do some cool tricks. Diminutive Desire, if this is how you pronounce that. It's a nice supporting attack too. We open with this, we do this. We look at the top 7 cards of our deck, grab any card, put it into the hand. So this is really nice. I can't really explain all of the usefulness of an attack like this, all the useful situations that can occur, but it's a useful attack to have. And Doom Desire, this is your offensive attack. It can be kind of tricky to pull this off, but if you do, it's very, very good. Basically, it's a 2 energy attack. You discard all the energies attached to this Pokemon, and the defending Pokemon is knocked out at the end of your opponent's next turn. So it doesn't get knocked out immediately, but if they keep it active and they end their turn, it basically dies. So it's quite powerful. I force them to switch and do some funky shit. Like I've said, a lot of the times they will be able to easily play around that, probably not even care. But since this is a basic Pokemon, discards. It's an attack that discards 2 metal energy. It's okay. It's a nice little cool attack, Doom Desire. Sometimes it does the trick. Okay, so well, the other 2 Pokemon, non-metal Pokemon, are going to be my Mime. Always run this dude, block the bench damage. And then, of course, we got to have our Donwinks and Necrozma GX, or if you don't have this, or if you prefer, you can use Keldeo EX. But the important thing is that we need Invasion or Keldeo EX's Rush in to bring this guy active and have a Float Stone on, get basically Fairy Retreat around the board. It's a very useful Pokemon. Can attack in this deck, unlike with the Malamars, you can actually use Psychic Energies in attack, but it doesn't matter. 180 HP has the fighting resistance too. It should be the better option compared to Keldeo X, but maybe if you want to run that, it's up to you. And as you guys have noticed, I'm not running any Tapu Lele GX. Normally, maybe I would run 1, not 2, but I took it out because I really need to keep all of these support Pokemon here. I really want Dialga GX, I really want Jirachi EX, and I really want Aegislash EX too. Normally, one of these 3 would have to get out, so I can put the Tapu Lele GX, but I decided, hey, you know what? Both of these guys are kind of consistency dudes as well. If I open with them, I can use their attacks to grab my shit, and this guy can be kind of a wall. It's kind of sometimes too good, the ability, so I don't want to take it out. And there really isn't any space. I'm running a lot of Pokemon. I don't want to put a Tapu Lele GX here. Of course, this doesn't mean that the deck is inconsistent, but you can imagine Tapu Lele GX can help. It also takes up a spot on the bench, so I decided for this version, I'm not going to run any Tapu Leles. And so far, it has worked out fine. No matter what, with a deck like this, you are going to get odd hands, you are going to lose to yourself. But all the other times when it flows nicely. Okay, so these are the Pokemon, only 14. I'm pretty sure my basic Pokemon should be 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 3 Bronzors. Yeah, 11. Nice. The Bronzong line is a 3-3. You guys should know from my other rayeels deck, Malamar deck. This is the number that I believe in. 4 is probably too much. Of course, it can be handy. 2 is definitely too little. And 3 is probably the most solid number. His attack isn't that great. The HP isn't that great. Retreat is bad, but we'll be able to take advantage of that with our balls. So speaking of balls, it's time to talk about the trainers. A big 34 trainer skeleton, as you guys can see, obvious for a deck like this. The ace pick of choice is of course going to be computer search. Not only is it a great discard outlet, letting me discard metal energies to the discard pile to set up for my Bronzongs, I can grab any card, Joker. It's basically the ace pick of choice. If you don't have this, you want to run Master Ball, okay, but this is the superior card in a deck like this. Dowsing Machine, I guess if you want to have that extra option Joker from the discard pile kind of thing, grab a item or supporter. Hey, that's up to you as well, but computer search is the way to go for me. Anything else, I don't think is that good. Maybe you can try some other shit like, I don't know, gold potion, or maybe the switch thing that switches the energies. I forgot what it's called. A scramble switch maybe, but this is the best card. Now for the item adding, the energy adding, I should say, still gonna have the professor's letter here, 2 of these, pretty self-explanatory. Grab the energies, discard them with cards. Excellent. Our balls, of course, we're gonna be running the 1 nest ball, and in this case, 3 heavy ball. So a heavy ball grabs a lot of shit in this deck. Not only can we grab the Bronzongs and the Bronzors since they have 3 retreat, we can grab Dusk Necrozma GX. We can grab this fucker right here. We can grab Dialga, even Aegislash. So basically almost everybody besides the Mime, the Dawnwings Necrozma GX, and Jirachi basically. So it's like a more flexible level ball. So this is why I decided to run this instead of level ball, only grab these 4 guys. And you can actually have there are Bronzors that have a 2 retreat or some shit, but this one has 70 HP, so I like it better. With the 3 retreat, we can grab it. We can use heavy ball, like I've said, so this is the way to go. The other ball is, of course, going to be 3 Ultra Ball in conjunction with the computer search. I have a lot of items that discard cards from hand. We're normally going to want to discard metal energies, but later on we can discard some other useless shit. This is great. It grabs me shit. Excellent card. Standard here. I gotta have the 1 Trainer's Mail for more consistency. Grabs a lot of useful shit in here. And then you gotta have the 2 Via Seekers since this is expanded. Grab any of our supporters. We can reuse something like Lysander, Colress, hopefully. A lot of great cards. And the other stuff is pretty standard. I have my Rescue Stretcher too. The benefit with this deck, like I've said, using Duskmane Necrozma GX instead of something like Ultra Necrozma GX is that you'll only run 1 type of energy, so you don't have to worry this much. You don't have to worry much about the energies, so we don't need to run Super Rod. We can just run Rescue Stretcher and shuffle in our Bronzongs and Bronzors if we need to back into the deck, or just grab 1 Pokemon from the discard pile and put it into the hand. So very, very good flexibility effect. I gotta run my 1 Startling Megaphone and the fucking Field Blower. Where the fuck are you? Oh yeah, you're at the top. Silly of me. So Field Blower, 1 of this, and 1 Startling Megaphone. Field Blower is more flexible, but I like the ability of discarding 3 tools. Sometimes it might happen. So I still like running Startling Megaphone, the kind of broken effect where you can discard everything if your opponent has a lot. So 1 and 1. And this deck, of course, focuses on switching around a lot and shit. So instead of 1 switch, I run 2 switches in a deck like this. And of course, I gotta have my 2 float stones for Dawnwings, Necrozma GX, and other Pokemon. Very, very good. Alright, so I think I covered all of the items. I don't think there's anything else besides the stadiums and supporters. Oh, actually, the Fighting Fury Belt. So like my rayeels deck, I run 1 kind of offensive tool. Fighting Fury Belt is in here instead of Choice Band. Give that extra HP on my big basic GX and EX Pokemon. Makes them more durable. I feel more safe when this card is on them. You don't need to run this since you do enough damage to get the job done. But hey, I decided 1 is not bad. With this on, Duskmane Necrozma GX is going to be at 230 HP, and that's pretty respectable. I mean, if I put this on this guy, it can do 170 with Corona Impact. Corona Impact is enough to knock out the stage 2 non-GX Pokemon, but maybe some of them have 170. You know, does that trick as well. Very, very nice. Okay, you can run Choice Band if you like. Now for the stadiums, we don't really have, our stadiums aren't as rad, I should say, uh, like in rayeels. Something like uh, Rough Seas and Skyra Bridge are pretty good. We can't really utilize Skyra Bridge in this deck since our guys have big ass retreat costs as it is. In rayeels, a lot of Pokemon have only one retreat, so we can get free retreat basically on things like Raikou EX and Rayquaza EX. So in this case, I can't really run it. So I decided to go with a Parallel City. Uh, Sky Stadium is a big problem. I believe in Expanded too, so maybe if you time this right, you can kind of stop them in their tracks. So Parallel City, good kind of stadium, I suppose. It doesn't really help our strategy, but I guess it can disrupt. And for the other stadium, Steel Shelter, I guess since this is a metal kind of deck, maybe I can be immune to things like laser and special conditions in general can be handy. So we get this kind of bonus in this deck. You can run the Ultra of the Sun and eliminate your weaknesses, but I don't think that is that big of a problem. Maybe you can do this, but I decided to like Steel Shelter and Pearl City better. But you can try all sorts of stadiums. Alright, and now for the supporters. My supporters are pretty standard, I believe. Maybe some changes since this is expanded. We have our Chorus here. Very, very good supporter. Late game, when you have a full bench, you fill up your bench pretty quickly. And if your opponent does this too, drawing 9 and 10 cards and shit, even 8, is pretty broken. A very good card. Only one because early can be kind of dead. Hopefully we use the VS Seekers on it. And I run a 2-2 Cynthia and N line. You can do 3 Cynthia, 1 N. You can do more N, 1 Cynthia. Depends on what you want. I decided to go with 2-2 in this case. Maybe even 3 Cynthia, 1 N is better since a lot of people run the Rangaroo and Octillery and shit and kind of becomes useless. But so far, I think 2-2 is pretty balanced. It's pretty okay. I mean, I guess I do have the VS Seeker, so maybe 3 Cynthia and 1 N is a better option. But so far, you know, it's okay like this. I gotta run my 3 Junipers, very, very nice. Discard Outlet supporter as well. Only 1 Scala, it's fine in this deck. We don't want to grab things. We don't have things like rare candy to grab and shit. Of course, there's a lot of useful items, but I normally want to draw a bunch of cards in this deck, not just use Scala. And of course, the MVP supporter in a deck like this is Lily. I want to grab this first turn. I mean, we don't have Tabulele GX, but if I use this first turn, it's pretty cool. It's very nice. We draw a bunch of shit, use the Ultra Balls, use this, draw a bunch of cards. It's a nice kind of draw until you have X number of cards into your hand. What I'm trying to say is it's not one of those shuffle in and draw supporters, and it's not a discard everything and draw supporters, so it's kind of nice to have a little bit of variety. And of course, I gotta have the one licensure. Like I've told you guys, grab a specific Pokemon, win the game, do some cool plays. And the energies, 12 metal energies, kind of standard. I believe in this number, as I've said before. So it's kind of a simple deck. It's kind of like another variation of Rayeels, Blaziken, Malamar, Bronzong, however you want to refer to it. You guys get the idea. You use Bronzong, get energies, put them on the Dusk Necrozma, get one-hit knockouts. Very, very, very nice. So I'm going to be posting games with this deck, of course, as always. I've wanted to show this deck to you guys for a while. I mean, it came into my mind immediately when this card was released, honestly. I've talked about this in videos as well. But it took a while for us to get the cards, and even longer to, you know, make the deck, show games when I have other stuff I need to show as well. But now I'm going to show games, and hopefully you guys enjoy them. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys subscribe, leave a like, share this with your friends. Cerebro94, what's up?